So there is, it makes sense completely. I think John Cena, nice. I always get confused. Thank you. John Moxley definitely needs this vacation. You see him so many times just defending his champion like a working man pretty much, and you should have this vacation completely. I agree with that.
Yep.
Bro, he needs
And
his
what do you have
vacation.
to?
He needs this vacation because every match he keeps fucking bleeding, and it just shows how much time and dedication and blood packets he uses every day to show his compassion for his wrestling matches.
Yeah, true. Uh, which now let's go to reason number two. Reason number two: MJF has helped elevate others around him, whether they have won or lost. He gave Sammy Guevara one of his best matches in all of AEW. He took Chris Jericho, who was, let's be honest, kind of dying of relevancy after he dropped the AEW title in AEW, and this was a feud to bring Jericho back to that main event prestige that he had in the beginning of AEW. Darby Allin. Darby Allin might have lost to MJF, but again, one of Darby's best matches. And then Moxley. He put over Moxley when he needed to 2 years ago at All Out, which will lead into my next reason as well. But point being is put MJF with any guy on the roster and they will succeed for it.
Oh yeah, makes sense. I think it definitely he MJF likes to elevate people, and I think the best example will be Darby. He really elevated him so much, and probably Jungle Boy. We didn't mention him too. Jungle Boy, he definitely elevated him. So I think definitely MJF does deserve that, and I do agree with that.
And honestly, besides elevating people, this guy has been in the spotlight for almost 4 plus years, hasn't received a title shot, and it's time for him to finally move along to the big leads, which is so more than earning of it.
Yep. Now into reason number three. MJF has already lost to John Moxley. So 2 years ago, where it mattered for Moxley to prove he was a dominant world champion, MJF was one of the victims that fell to John Moxley. And now we're in a position where Moxley, he's a certified star. Whether it's in what, no matter where it is, he is a star. And that energy is undeniable from John Moxley. He is going to be a main event guy for the rest of his entire career. It's basically safe and secured at this point. But when we think about MJF, he has had big wins, but he hasn't had that huge win that could catapult him into a main event star, kind of comparable to a John Moxley, a Kenny Omega, or a CM Punk. He needs that big win to elevate him to that next level. MJF is getting the biggest cheers out of everyone in AEW, despite practically still being a heel. I know they're kind of teasing a face turn, but we're not falling for that shit. Point being is that MJF needs to win now where it matters most.
Yeah, that's completely true. I feel like John Moxley definitely is this main event star always, but I don't think MGF should lose it to him again because of how popular he is. It's kind of a good situation, just like what's it called, the Acclaimed. Everyone really hated them, but everyone started cheering them all the way with the scissoring stuff, and so I feel like that's kind of how it's kind of working out for MJF too, because everyone hated him so much, but now everyone loves him, and now he should have this title. So I definitely agree with that too.
Couldn't say better myself, Berman.
All right. Now moving on to reason number four. John Moxley won't look weak losing to MJF. Now, this is a fun fact. In AEW, in one-on-one action, John Moxley has only lost 4 times in the entire 3 years he's been in AEW. He lost to Kenny Omega twice. He lost to Lance Archer. And in his only loss in 2022 was to CM Punk. Those are the only 3 guys who ever had a victory over John Moxley. And newsflash, Moxley also beat all 3 of those guys as well. There is not one person Moxley has ultimately taken an L to. He is the sacred star of AEW. So him losing to MJF won't necessarily make him look weak whatsoever, because he barely ever loses in the first fucking place.
Yeah, I think that's a completely true statement. I think he's definitely not going to look weak. And even if right now MJF looks that great, that I don't think anyone who fights against him would look weak. Just a good case of Wheeler Yuta. That was just a great match, and MJF just put his ass on the line on that one. So 100% makes it completely agree with that.
And besides that, he's not like a jobber or anything, or even like a mid carder, so people can't bitch and complain if he ends up beating him like cleanly. Because
Yeah, like they can't really pull the it's buried crap with Jon Moxley. It's fucking Jon Moxley.
Twitter's like, they fucking buried Moxley. Who the fuck is MJF, dude? He's not beating Moxley. Actually, no. There's gonna be people like that.
There definitely will
mind.
be, but overall, when we think about the big picture here, does Moxley lose anything by losing against MJF?
No.
No.
Nope.
Yep. Now let's move on into the final reason. MJF is the future of all of wrestling. Now, that might be a strong statement. There's Darby Allin, there's Wheeler Yuta, there's Daniel Garcia, there's Montez Ford. There's a lot of younger talent who can be considered the future. Ilya Dragunov, I can go on. But when I think about the overall, who is going to be the next big player of them all? That answer is MJF. WWE or AEW, the big star of their 20s is MJF. MJF, in some ways, kind of had the gifts that Randy Orton did at a young age, like already being good instantaneously on the mic, already being good instantaneously in the ring. He is just naturally gifted overall. And it kind of makes some people angry just how good he is at everything, which is pretty fair. But yeah, he is just that damn good at everything. At wrestling, at commentary, at the mic skills. Give him anything and he will flourish with it. That is MJF. And that is a guy to put your title on, no matter what company it is.
Yeah, completely true. I think he's 100% the future. We see it every day with people in different promotions. You just mentioned a lot of the names have a great future, but I think MJF is the pretty much what I call it, the ultimate future of wrestling. He does everything the best, and this could be the 100% the evolution of wrestling in the future.
And not only that, too, they need a new face for AEW anyways, since Jon Moxley's probably going to be out of the picture. So it's good to build up your new talent.
Is basically out the picture too.
That too. We need a new face, damn it, because CM Punk probably ain't coming back.
Yeah, and Kenny's not back yet. So literally, if you think about it, they don't have a face of the company right now.
Very true, dude.
I mean, you could say it's Moxley, but again, he's not even supposed to be here right now.
He's like, I just want to retire.
No, in all seriousness, all I have to say is that all three of us are big fans of Jon Moxley. I discovered Jon Moxley through the Dean Ambrose character, I'll admit. And the Dean Ambrose character and the overall wrestler became one of my favorite acts of all time. When I was 14 years old in the T-Mobile Arena, I witnessed him cash in on Seth Rollins. And that is still one of the best moments I've ever witnessed live at any wrestling event. And then this year, Anarchy in the Arena that he took part in, that was just madness. Overall, Moxley has played a critical part in me being a long-term wrestling fan. Not that I wasn't one before Moxley, but he helped me stay a wrestling fan, whether it was in WWE or in AEW. So with all that said, there is no hate at all against Jon Moxley from any of the three of us. We are Jon Moxley fans, but MJF beating Mox is what is most necessary at this moment. Now, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Daniel.
I've been Berman.
Chris again.
And we'll see you all in the next one.